This is the My Amazon Guy podcast, starting here in 4 minutes. My name is Steve Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. Post any question you have into the comments section. Hi, this is Stephen Pope. I'm the founder of My Amazon Guy. We're going live today to take your questions. I'm super excited, and it's Friday at noon. Every Friday at noon, we do the live Q&A with Stephen Pope. That's me, and I will answer any Amazon question today. One of the really cool things is today we have a new brand that I have launched called Age of Sage. If you need a Mother's Day gift, going into Mother's Day here coming up here in a couple of weeks, feel free to add some value back to me. This is my own product we've just launched. I'm naming it after my daughter, Sage. Super excited to have a Mother's Day gift set launching out. So if you're willing to help me out, feel free to check that out if you also love your mom. All right, so we're going to start taking your Amazon questions today. Yesterday, we had Zon Guru on our podcast, which was great. Feel free to check that one out after you watch today. First question comes in from Glenn. We have a total amount of combined reviews for a product we sell for all three colors. Is there any way of finding out how many stars or ratings I have for each individual color? The answer is yes. There's a tool, I think it's called bagels.io, that's free, that you could use to download all of your reviews at the SKU level. Pretty sure Zon Guru does this, as well as many other tools. Many tools do this one, Glenn. I would check out bagels.io as a first starting point. Very easy to do that. And that one might actually be for Q&A answers. I'm trying to remember. But yes, very many tools that do that, Glenn. Hello, Mark. Good to see you. Thanks for being a fan. We love to see everybody coming back each and every week. SC Trojan Baller, also good to see you again. I have a manual campaign with 5 keywords. 2 of them does significantly better than the others. How should I scale them? Move just the 2 to different campaigns with higher budget? If so, is there anything I should do about the original campaign? So what I would do is I would segment out a couple of campaigns at the SKU level and see if you can niche the variations a little bit more that are not doing well, and add in additional keywords that will be beneficial to those particular products. For example, maybe you sell something that has a different flavor, scent, color, then adding in those adjective identifiers into the segmented campaign can make those boost a little bit better with the niche keywords. I think you can leave the original campaign alone. If it's producing and meeting your targets, just leave it alone. That's fine. And then if you want to get the other variations to produce, advertising segmentation is where it's at. All right, let's go to Nylon 97. Should you keyword stuff alt text in the alt plus A plus content, or keep it basic and relevant to the photo? I would keyword stuff 100% because this is non-consumer facing. Anybody can right-click the image and view the source code, but nobody does. So I would totally keyword stuff. Don't put any competitor brand names. Don't put anything that can get you banned, like a keyword that's on the hot list. But other than that, totally safe. I keyword stuff. In fact, in the product that I launched literally today, and the reason I launched it today instead of launching it on Sunday, because I think Sunday is the best day of the week to launch, is because it's Mother's Day coming up and I'm just trying to get this thing across the finish line last second we can. So here is the gift set. I have another photo that's going to update, that's going to show the Mother's Day card that's not live quite yet. That's how live we are at the moment. Trying to get this up at the last second. The A+ content, we submitted it this morning. It went through instantaneous. A lot of people have like a 2-week waiting time for A+ content. It can be a little tricky sometimes. And then you're going to notice, I'm going to right click. So here's one of the shots with the full box. When I inspect the element here, you're going to notice that the keyword alt text is totally stuff. I've got spa essential kit, basket, her scented body scrub, lotion, bubble bath set, beauty best, basket, women. Very keyword stuffed. And I do not even have a scrub in the set. And I'm also using those cursory language. You also notice here this A+ content is a little rushed. I think Amazon's very much an iterative approach, and we literally got photos for this last night at 11 o'clock at night. So just skirting this one across the finish line. Age of Sage, named after my 2-year-old daughter. So absolutely keyword stuff, A+ content all day long. David Scott says, hello. Thanks for joining us, Dave. DK. Hey, Stephen, newbie question. About to do a photo shoot for a new product launch. Can you recommend how many photo and video assets I should have to populate main image, thumbs, and A+ content? This is a fantastic question. I just did this. Why don't I go ahead and pull up what I produced and walk you through it. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'll tell you where we came up short. Maybe this can help you, DK. So we had 2 photo shoots done. We didn't have the box or the card when we did the first photo shoot. So you see these photos here reflecting, and we have, you know, we've got the wine tumbler, all that good stuff. Let's see if I can go right here. We've got a body lotion, and then notice how we're taking multiple angles of each of the individual items. Notice how we took an individual item with and without like a background. You got multiple soap bars here. You got multiple scents and flavors. Notice how there's a straight on shot and then there's an angle shot. That can look very, very different, right? Like the angle shots look a little better, don't they? So I think that's why that's very beneficial. Notice how we took multiple product types of shots. So we took a 2 shot of the soap bars. Again, multiple angles. See how this particular shot didn't pan out. The left is a little blown out. And again, just constantly trying different angles with and without the packaging, which is kind of cool to see some of the flavor shots. Okay. And then group shots, very, very important, especially if you got a kit. Even if you don't sell a kit, take at least one group shot with all the variations you have to offer. Can come in really valuable. And let's see what else we got here. And then with various different settings of the items. So we've got them on top of each other, sometimes putting it on pink, sometimes taking a downward shot. So it just really depends on how good your photographer is. So that was that full photo shoot number 1. And then I'm going to pull up the second photo shoot. And then here we took the actual box shots. And so here's a professional box with it closed. Can't even see anything else. We took a shot of that. We took it with it on pink. And then we retook some shots. I'll go through those pretty quick. I think the lotion shot this time turned out way better. So that was looking really good. And then here's the key one. And here's the shot that I got frustrated with. Like I was really struggling with this one because this card that you can see right here is covering part of the items, right? So like you can't see the lotion, you can't see the second soap bar, which is a problem. And the other thing you'll notice here is that look at all the box fill. It's like kind of coming over the top of some of the items. And so it's not as clean cut as I'd like it to be. So these are the mistakes or the challenges that we experience with our photo shoot. And so like I'm now going to go back and see if I can get a better shot to reflect the products, because the main image right now could be way, way better, I think. So right now on the listing, I have this. I actually ran a Pickfu test this morning to see if I could get a better result compared to, you know, what other items I have. So I just ran this A/B test. Let's see how many are populated. This is kind of cool to see an A/B test in real time. So I literally posted this test like 20 minutes ago on Pickfu, and I want to know which photo will be better received by people. So it's almost a 50-50 split on this. So on the right here, you can see more of the item. You know, like you can see like the card broken out, the box. Whereas the left one, you can't see the full box and what you're getting. And so I'm struggling right now. I was like, which photo do I go with, right? And so you can see actual responses. 19 responses picked photo A and 16 picked photo B. So almost a 50-50 split right now. And it shows you actually all the responses. So these are the sort of things that when you're doing a photo shoot, I highly recommend you go through because it can be very, very beneficial to seeing like what people actually think. Always be testing. For those that are interested, we do have an affiliate link and code with Pickfu. We are an authorized Pickfu dealer, if you will. And it does give you a slight discount. So I'm going to post that in the chat here. Stand by just a second. All right, posted that in the chat. So if you want to check out I put the ShipStation link in. My bad. Hold on. Let's try that again. Oh, my Pickfu test link is totally broken. I'll get that fixed. In any case, if you use the coupon code MyAmazonGuy at Pickfu, you will receive a discount when you sign up for that. All right, taking a note to get my link fixed. Link needs to go to Pickfu. All right. Let's go to the next question here. Sorry for the long tangent, but that was a good question, and I felt like very worthwhile to go into some detail because photo shoots are very challenging. Let's see. Denise asked, finally removed a hijacker from listings, but now the bad reviews are pouring in. The product they sent were horrible. The bad reviews say exactly that. Any way of getting those bad reviews removed? Yes. Very difficult one-to-one ticketing on this, and I recommend that you go ahead and flag and indicate that the product review is not for your product. It's actually for a hijacker product, and you probably want to split the ASIN. And so I would put in an actual ASIN split request to see if you can get that split off, because then all the bad reviews will permanently go away and you don't have to worry about it one-to-one. Sierra, if you could look for my product review guide, I think there's a website guide. Just type into Google product review removal guide, my Amazon guide, and you should be able to find it. Go ahead and post that into the comment sections. All right, let's go. Oh, let's go back to DK's question here, because I went a lot of detail on the photos to take, but I didn't actually answer like how many photos to load. So you want 6 photos in the main images and secondary images, 1 video, and then you probably want another 10 shots in your A+ content. So hopefully that finishes answering that question, DK. All right, Leonard says, hey, Stephen, how do you go about optimizing your sponsored display ads? I often find that I don't get all the campaigns through a bulk export. I think that bulk export's really good for sponsored products, but the display aspect, not so much. And so I would consider doing a little bit of manual on that. Usually they don't require a lot of maintenance, category, target, bid, and then just trying to get them set up to begin with. So that is a non-answer to you, Leonard, but that's what I do. Mark says, when considering to launch a variation, what are some factors to look at to determine feasibility? Ran a Pickfu. I didn't read this question before I read it, before I went on air. So Pickfu apparently is on everybody's mind today. Ran a Pickfu and 25% the new one. Do I need an aggressive launch or PPC? So I would say Pickfu can help you figure out if people would prefer the color or the look, but it won't necessarily help you with utility. So if your variation is kind of like a scent, a color, a flavor, that kind of thing, you'd be totally fine, especially on color. Color is probably the best one to test, even with just graphics. But PPC is definitely how you launch products. Even just generally speaking, I'm not a big fan of optimizing for lots of variations. I usually recommend just getting more products, not lots of variations. I think it's better. You get better lift, right? So like your main hero product in its main original form will probably not be toppled by a color variation or secondary features. So that's generally why I recommend that. Leonard says, for sponsored brand headline ads, how do you decide and then quantify which 3 products to have in the ad? It depends, right? So like each brand is going to be unique on this one. I would say what best represents your acquisition opportunity. Or if you have a product launch, maybe you want to launch a new product, then you're going to position that product higher up in your sponsored brand selection. I often would suggest doing 3, either an approach of 3 complementary products or 3 unique products to showcase the brand. It really just depends on what category you're in, what your goals are, how you're trying to penetrate the market. So no one size fits size all answer on that one. Nylon 97 says, any pricing strategy on launch? Should it be a certain percentage lower than your one day you want to sell it at so you can get some initial sales? Yes, in the first month, I would try and lose money on Amazon. Month 2, break even, and from there, try and make money. The strategy by having a lower price on launch can be very beneficial, especially if you launch with like a coupon or anything like that, just to get sales going. If the particular product that I launched today, I have not even set up a coupon yet. I'm still scrambling to like update the imagery and stuff like that. And I'm rushing to market for Mother's Day. So it can be very beneficial to get a coupon on launch, but I'm not a big fan of coupons in perpetuity. So why don't we make a coupon together? I'll just put this live on screen right now. So in here, we're going to grab the ASIN. I'm going to grab that off screen here and post it in. And so for those that haven't made a coupon before, you will benefit from this. And we are launching out of the warehouse today. So we're going to add to the coupon. Notice how the image looks a little weird. I think it's because I chose a horizontal one. So we really have to get that updated. So I'm going to do a money off. I'm going to go with $5 and unlimited amount. I'm going to put a budget of $500. And then when I want to disable this, I can come back and disable it. So say $5 on Mother's Day gift set. And then start date, we're going to make it effective immediately. And I'm probably going to disable that at least by the 25th. Because when it goes to the Mother's Day launch, it'll be pretty big. So, all right, just submitted that coupon. That's how you submit a coupon. Super easy to do that. And I recommend definitely doing that on launch whenever possible. All right, let's go to the next question here. David Scott says, I originally had a GTIN exemption for my official brand, sent pics to Amazon. Now I use your service to file a brand registry. Will this conflict? Do I need UPCs when adding new brand items? Well, first of all, David, thank you for buying a trademark from MyRefundGuy. And for those that haven't done that before, the cost is $775. We get you your serial number in 1 business day, and you can complete your entire brand registry in less than 7 days. So I'll post a link to that in the chat. This will not conflict at all. I do recommend you load UPC codes generally. I think it's really beneficial, and it will help you with data management. But it is not required, and filing for brand registry will not change that. All right, so let's go to the next question to Amrit. I'm sending a pallet to Amazon, and for some reason it's split it into 2 pallets, which would be 2 half pallets and charge me for full pallets. How can I change this to send all 4 SKUs together? So I'm going to speculate a little bit here, but I bet you it's sending to 2 locations, and it's not splitting the pallets, it's splitting the locations. And that's your challenge. Just got my Pickfu link. It's pickfu.com/myamazonguy. Just put that in the chat for those that want to get a discount on their first A/B test like we showed in live today. And so Amrit, with your situation, I would switch the shipping to case sizes when you go through the shipping method instead of individual. And then if you put in the case size of like 200 units, it's going to send to 1 location. And I think the cap on case size is actually 150, not 200. But that should help limit your location shipping. But when you're at the final pallet shipping step, it does not dictate how many pallets you have. So that's why I'm speculating, and I think that you have an issue with locations, not with pallets, in fact. Deanna says, hi there. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Very much appreciate that. Anybody that wants to say hello, you may not have to have a question. You can just say hello and add to our chat today. Very much appreciate that. I am going to the next question here. Rejected by default. When creating a variation listing, do you enter copy into your parent, child, or both? I do both. The parent will override the child if the child is blank. So if it ever gets wiped, there's a benefit to having it. But the children should be unique copy. So if you don't have copy, the parent will override. But the child should be the one where most of the copy exists. One of the most recent changes that we noted was that they now show copy in addition to A+ content. So as we scroll down right here, see how we got copy in the A+ content, but notice, well, not actually seeing it, but normally on a lot of listings I've seen of late, the product description field is also showing in addition to the A+ content. So you may want to have unique copy in the product description from your A+ content as well. On my A+ content, my header module is about half the size of the rest of the modules. How do I fix this? You can't. It's meant to be half the size. It's supposed to be a logo. You could leave it blank, and you could make the top module a bigger logo size if you prefer. It won't like leave a blank space. But generally speaking, I fill in every module. There's no reason not to. So just put a smaller logo in there. Leonard says, when running a sponsored brand ad, is there any way to see which products are converting for the ad? How do you optimize which products do you have in the ad? I think the data would be similar to your sponsored products. And so I would use the data from sponsored products to dictate which products to put into the headline ads. The conversion and the traffic generation, the clicks, the CTR, the impressions should be almost identical in nature. So the question is how do you want to represent the brand? And again, kind of going off your earlier question, Leonard, I think that you sometimes want to push some products more than others, even if they cost more to sell. And so I think you need to look at this from a product selection strategy, not from a ACOS strategy. Headline ads should not be managed from an ACOS standpoint. They're all about brand acquisition and leverage and brand awareness. They're not necessarily about click and sale. Trust Shar, good to see you again. Does setting a future launch date make inventory and FBA for that SKU stranded? Yes, it does. It seems that my product has been stranded for this very reason. So yeah, great question, Trust Shar. So the moment it's checked in, it would go available for sale potentially. And so if you have a launch date, you're not quite ready, maybe your A+ content's not ready, or you don't have a reason to launch until everything is in play, maybe you haven't made your PPC campaigns, whatever it might be, you can unstrand that by simply making your launch date updated to today's dates. So not a big deal at all. So I was in the process of launching my own product, which everybody seems to be talking about product launches today. So why don't I go ahead and screen share on this? So if anybody's curious where to access your launch dates, there are 3 fields you can look at. There is the offer release date. Let's see if I can find the right one here. And in the more detail section, if you go down here, here is the launch date and the release date. I don't know why they have so many different fields, but release date allows you to take pre-orders. Launch date is actually when it's like viewable on Amazon. And so my FBA listing is not ready, so I have a launch date on it, but my fulfill by merchant one is ready. And so I have a duplicate SKU in my case, with both available for purchase when the inventory is ready. Brandon says, I did a flat file partial update for a wholesale item that we sell, but the title has not changed. Any recommendations on how to update the title? Brandon, if there's any way for you to get Brand Registry agent access, I would recommend it. Filing a Brand Registry ticket will make your life way easier. Filing tickets to get the title to update is your best course of action. If there is no brand registered for that item, then it will be easy. If somebody else has registered that brand and you are just a reseller, it will be very difficult to get that title updated. So you may have to reach out to the manufacturer if that's the case. Ryan says, what determines the cash amount that Amazon reimburses a seller for warehouse damaged goods? It's the price of the item as if it's sold at full price. So for example, if you have a $10 item and your logistics fees were $3 and your referral fee was $1.50, so 10 minus 3 minus 1.5, that leaves us with what, $6.50? And that's what they would pay you out. Nylon says, what's the best way to make a title? Keyword stuff or stay relevant and short? The A/B testing on this shows that shorter titles will convert better for the most part, but the longer titles will index better. And so I'm a big firm believer that a longer title is advantageous, especially on product launch. So, here I am with my long Mother's Day title. Again, this is a product I just launched. I literally only have 2 sales in this item so far. And if anybody wants to purchase it, please do. Buy your Mother's Day a gift. And this title is lengthy. Notice how I have Mother's Day mom gift sets because I'm trying to go for both mom and Mother's Day keywords, and then I have a hyphen after the first 5 words. That's to set the canonical URL. So if you look up in the top of the URL right here, it says Mother's Day Mom Gift Set, and which is super beneficial for Google canonical URL indexing. And then we have obviously a lot of stuff in the kit, so the title is lengthy. So I would go lengthy when in doubt, Nylon. Jassy says, any tip on getting an accurate cubiscan done? I made my packaging so it goes into cheaper shipping rates here, but Amazon keeps giving my old packaging DIMs, ask for remeasurement 10 times. I have a great tip for you. So go grab a scale and grab measuring tape and literally take photos of you doing this and then ask Amazon to reflect your values. because you are literally showing them the proof in the ticket. They will match it. I've done this about a dozen times. It works every time. Probably best advice you've heard today. Lucho says, I've been having so many problems with listings being removed for lack of CPC, etc. Working with manufacturers and send all kinds of tests and certificates, and only a fraction of their ASINs got approved, others removed, although it's the same products, just different toy animals. So right now we're seeing Amazon enter the maturity phase. Very difficult. We have a lot of document requirements coming out of the woodwork, and that makes it really difficult to navigate and trust and plan and see what's going to happen. So what I would say is keep trying. Gating issues, document issues are very, very difficult. If you get stuck, hire an expert. So on my site, we offer catalog troubleshooting for $100 an hour with Saban, and I highly recommend it. You could also hire an ungating service like Funnel Guru. I think it's like $650 for toys. We use them maybe once a year when we can't fix something ourselves. We usually can fix stuff ourselves, but it can be very challenging. Beverly says, I'm on day 5 of launching a second variation of a current product. They are in 2 separate listings. Would it be better for me to combine the 2 listings for a launch as a parent-child? Yes, it would, most likely. Parenting items is usually very beneficial on product launches. The only time I like to separate out the listings and variations is if both products are hot. So if you're selling like 500 units of each product, then I would separate them out. And so you could start with the parentage and then break them out. So the original listing has 180 4.5 star reviews. If I do this, should I stop running PPC to my old ASIN or run PPC to both? They share almost all the same keywords. How can I prevent them from competing against each other? Well, your old ASIN is going to take a lot of time to beat your old original ASIN. So I would combine them at least for 2 weeks, maybe as long as 2 months. And then if you want to make a higher price on the old ASIN to try and push them to the new ASIN, that's fine. But I definitely would parent them. There's no doubt in my mind your scenario, Beverly, you want to parent these items. Takes a template upload, a little bit difficult work to get parentage in place, but definitely the right thing. Lucha says, also just had a protecting powder bestseller qualified as meltable. Ouch. Been selling it for 2 years, no problem. You can contest it and basically say, hey, this is not meltable. And you have to give them documentation and cite their book at them. Anytime you have a policy issue, cite Amazon's book at them. And as you guys have seen me tell the story about my own wine glass ban from advertising right now, the social distancing wine glass. Even me, it's taken 6 weeks to like fight this. I still am not live yet. So kind of focus elsewhere because of that. So you are going to have an uphill battle on this one, Lucho, but you totally can get it solved just by showing them their own rule book. Bob Dale says, what do you consider low-hanging fruit to be in ranking better? In order, title, search term field, bullets, A+ contents, description, alt text. That is the ranking order for your low-hanging fruit. I would look at 10 competitor listings and find all the keywords that they share in the top 10 results and focus on those keywords. That is an extremely important thing to do to find relevancy and improve your SEO results. So to the next question, Luca. Hello, Steven. Should I put a brand name at the start of a title? Many successful competitors do not have it. Depending on your catalog category, you must put the brand name at the front of your title. However, I do not in my category, in the gift giving category. You can get away with it. Never had a problem. But in many categories, it's very difficult to get the brand name to not be in the front. They typically will throw the book at you and say, hey, this is the brand guidelines. And you got a problem. So I would say get away with it when you can, unless your brand name is really, really powerful or helps you with SEO and that kind of thing. All right. So we're going to do a giveaway today for a t-shirt. To enter our t-shirt today, you need to type into chat right now, mag shirt with a hashtag. So hashtag mag shirt. If you'd like a free t-shirt, we're going to do that giveaway in about 20 minutes from now, but you need to put your mag shirt hashtag into chat right now to qualify for that. We'll leave that on the screen here for a couple minutes to make sure we get any stragglers for that. All right, let's go to our next question. Are there any restrictions on words like smoking? Yes, there is. If I'm showing a lifestyle model pics with people smoking a hookah, would that be okay? Probably not. You're going to have challenges. Whereas the keywords are usually the first thing to get a listing yanked, images will eventually get them yanked, at least from promoting things that are banned from advertising, and that will be the #1 problem. So be careful with that. If your listing is suffering, you don't have sales, be a little aggressive, do things, but you're going to have a problem with that one. Dr. Kaz, good to see you again. Hi, Popel. I love your work. Regarding product listing questions on listings, I love the video responses. How do I check unanswered questions? Currently, I wait for emails. Any auto way of viewing this? Bagels.io is a great way to export all unanswered questions. There is no way to get a prompt for this as far as I know. If anybody knows the answer to this question, if there's an automated tool to prompt you for all questions, please post that tool in the chat. But Dr. Kaz, I'm not aware of one. Amazon automatically will send you about 1 out of 5 of the answers and questions, and then they send it to a portion of the buyers at random. Unfortunately, no better mechanism. Masomi says, every time I lower my PPC costs on my relevant keywords, my item is not selling. When I increase costs, it sells. I have been adjusting up and down for 6 months now. What can I do in this situation? So when you say you're adjusting your costs, I think you mean bid. And so the problem is, if you don't have a high enough bid, you're not going to get impressions. If you don't get impressions, you don't get clicks. If you don't get clicks, you don't get traffic. Without traffic, you can't get conversions, which leads to sales. So consider this. PPC is worth spending money on at a loss or break even in most categories, because any organic sales traction you get, you need sales to get sales. It can still be very beneficial and profitable. So a lot of people are afraid to have a high ACoS on their items, and I'm not. I think it's completely fine. Now, certain businesses, they are looking for growth and others are looking for profit. There's a friction between these two, and sometimes you got to meet in the middle on it. And if it's been 6 months, you're probably looking for a profit at this point and you're not looking for growth. So I would say, you're just gonna have to balance your needs against your expectations. Ryan says, I've heard you talk about the importance of alt text and A+ content. What about putting keywords in the raw image names or the image metadata before uploading? This matters for Google and for WordPress and Shopify. I'm not sure if it matters for Amazon. I would recommend naming your photos, though. I think that there is a potential possibility that it will help you, but I'm not certain. I've never tested it. And I don't believe any of the source codes on Amazon reflect the metadata for that. So I don't think it helps, but I can't rule it out. So it's a non-zero chance. Don't forget your TA image of Age of Sage. My TA image. What's a TA image? DK, help me out. All right. Tunanan says, hi, Stephen. I plan to sell in the US only. What countries should I have a list to protect my brand from those hijackers we talk about from time to time? Canada, #1, 100%. UK, probably, and maybe Germany. Those are the markets I would do for sure, but at least the English-speaking ones. Australia, maybe, but I wouldn't worry about any of the non-English-speaking ones besides potentially Germany. The reason is we've seen most of the black hat attacks come from Canada, UK, or Germany. I don't think I've seen one for Australia, though. We can see you, Deanna. Welcome. Lucho, I don't know which URL you're looking for. Feel free to clarify. Bob says, how many keywords do you focus on for a new product listing launch? So phase 1, Bob, we index for as many products as we possibly can. Index for as many keywords, that is. So I would say 1,000 keywords within 30 days is my target. Month 2, 1,200, and month 4 plus 2,000 keywords. So indexing is core. And then once you get to a mature listing, it's got reviews, it's got sales, et cetera, et cetera. At that point, that's when I would transfer over into less keyword focus, like 20 keyword focus. But when you first start out, it's all about the indexing. Adrian says, I need to send my goods from China to a warehouse in California. that could also be Canada technically. Should I have it palletized? Generally, no. If you have a container load, you don't palletize it because they can palletize it in California. It just depends on how big or how much stuff. If you're just sending like one pallet, probably not worth palletizing. If you're sending in half a container, but you're sharing a container, maybe palletize it. But if you're sending a full container, definitely don't palletize it because it takes too much space. So generally speaking, you want to pack those containers full without space to save money. Abdallah says, I'm launching my first product. Don't know how to launch. I'm confused. Everyone is saying something. What do you suggest? First of all, spend lots of money on PPC, optimize everything day one, and have A+ content ready before you launch. Have all your photos ready. The only exceptions to this is when there is a nice little holiday like Mother's Day, and you're just trying to get it up and running at the last seconds. And I'm going to plug this a couple times today because it's topical to all of our answers. So often the case, there's an exception to every rule. For the most part, I recommend having everything day one ready. So like you'll notice I don't have a video. There are many things that are not perfect on this listing right now. But for launch, sometimes you have to go for timeframes. And in other times, you have to go for full optimization readiness. I have lost my place in the questions, Sierra. Help me out if you can. Thank you. Tunana says, what are the words you experience as risky on title, like gift? So anything that can feel like a pesticide, anything, so antimicrobial, those kinds of things. There are certain promotional languages you need to avoid entirely, like buy and, save and stuff like that. And then other than that, it's basically things that are promotional or medical. You can't use acronyms like FDA and stuff like that. Daniel says, hi from Brazil. It's good to see you, Daniel. Brazil market's up and coming. DK says, follow up on the photo shoot question. Any good resources, guides for best practices for following Amazon pics and video specs? We do. We have an entire photo guide. Anytime you're wondering if there's a guide on something, the answer is always going to be yes. And just type into Google said content plus the words My Amazon Guy, and you will see tremendous amounts of guides. We have over 650 video contents. I'm putting into the chat right now for you, DK, a link to our photo best practices guide. There have been some updates over the year, including a minimum of 1600 by 1600 pixels. I recommend 2000. You need a high enough DPI. You need to crop the main image very tight, and a lot of other things that are important. Check out that guide. If I hire My Amazon Guy trademark registration services, will you give me a free My Amazon Guy t-shirt? So Daniel, just because you asked, yes. Just when you place that order, let me know. I'll send you a link. James Smith says, if you want to do an ASIN review, I volunteer as tribute. All right, let's do our first ASIN review today. Would be happy to do that. And the ASIN is Bravo 01 Bravo 23 Paul Whiskey Echo 2. And let's pull that up on screen here. All right, so we got Physique Formula BCA AA Powder. So super competitive category. First thing you need is a video. Reviews are fantastic. Parentage is great. You've got flavor options. You have the target audience. So you're trying to target athletic females, although her six-pack is too unbelievable for me. And I would have preferred to see her face look at the camera. I like the American aspect, although this photo is low res, and I would probably try and get a higher res, brighter photo. And quite frankly, I would probably put a bikini-clad woman in an American bikini showing this instead of an American flag, so you get the clicks. That's probably what I would do there. Let's scroll down. Bullet points are very flushed out, and A+ content is super heavy on content. And I love the real photo here. This is a great real photo demonstrating the flavors. You even have the product grid with the links. That's fantastic. Let's look at your inspect code and see if you have keywords. You do. Powder, supplement, men, women, organic. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So I'd say a solid 8 out of 10 listing here. You'd get to a 10 by getting a woman shot facing the camera, a video, And then let's check out your history on this. So you did a lot better in May, right around when COVID hit, and you've maintained your velocity since then. Pretty average sales velocity. So you probably are underspending on marketing. Let's check out your keyword indexing and see what that looks like. And then we'll wrap and go to the next question. Super excited to see everybody watching our podcast today. We're very appreciative of the audience that we've built. We appreciate all of you guys tuning in. So what I really like about your keyword distribution is that you have a 1-to-2 ratio on your sponsor products versus organic. This is very healthy, relatively strong, and you have really good indexing. So your listing is in the maturity phase, lots of reviews, lots of keywords indexed. And the question is why isn't it selling better? I think you just need to focus on some conversion aspects, believe it or not. 9 out of 10 times, I'm always like, go traffic. And I think conversion for your product should be the focus for the next 30 days. And it looks like your matriculation of some of the keywords are a little immature. I think you could do better on that. Go focus on keywords in ranks 20 through 50 and try and get more products to the top 5 to 10 of search. Deanna says, what strategies do you recommend when launching a product? I feel like I've hit that one to death today. Spend lots of money, optimize everything before it goes up. Chunanan says, you are showing your products. Isn't it reducing your conversion rate? Any conversion is good on launch, regardless. Now, if this was like 3 months in and I was putting in a bunch of bad traffic, then it could have some diminishing aspect. But right now, I'm just trying to get as much buzz as I possibly can to the listing and get as many sales to go through as humanly possible. And that is because any sale data is going to be good. You'll notice I even bought my own product, which is totally kosher. Doesn't break any rules to do that. I just can't leave a review on my own product. So this is my way of trying to generate a sale by any means necessary to get them through the door, because every sale counts for the velocity when you launch a product. Let's go to Leonard here. For your sponsored display ads, do you create an ad for each child variation or just the parent one? Do you do product targeting and audience targeting for each? So Leonard, this is a segmentation question. I would recommend the more sophisticated you are. So Leonard, knowing the list of questions that you've been giving us over the past few weeks, you are sophisticated. I would absolutely run one product per campaign and absolutely run every segmentation type. Separate them out, isolate them, run the display targeting mechanisms that are all available to the products. And for those that may not know, there are a lot of new display segmentation targets. I'm going to go ahead and create a campaign to demonstrate that and pull up on screen here. So in the far right, go to sponsor display. You do need a trademark to make this happen. You need brand registry. And then here in the targeting methods, you can see product targeting, which is like your category and product targeting, and then audience targeting. Notice here, there's views, remarketing, searches, and purchases. So there are ways to pull people off of Amazon to come back to Amazon, people who've physically looked at your product, people who have physically searched for the product, as well as lookalikes who have searched for similar things. These are all under-tapped mechanisms. Now, if you're not spending a few grand on sponsored products, I wouldn't touch display necessarily, but I've had a lot of personal success with category targeting under product targeting, a particular category with a low bid of like 45 cents and hitting the whole category at large. Doesn't work in most categories, only works in select categories. So you got to give that a test. Ryan says, what's the best way to remove a verified purchase review that was clearly meant for a different product? Basically, just submit a product review removal. We posted the guide earlier today. Check that out. It's about a 3% chance of getting it removed. I'm going to tell you, set expectations, pretty low chance. But if you cite the reason for why it should be removed, and in your case, you say that the review came in under ASIN 1, but it's actually reviewing ASIN 2. Here's the proof. They even took a picture of it. They even talked about something that's not even in my product, whatever it might be. Showed them the proof. Definitely advocate for it. See what happens. DK says, I find many of the best sellers have shorter titles. Any thoughts? Yes, there's a reason for that. Shorter titles will convert slightly better once they have been a good seller. In addition to that, most of the corporations that have had items up and around for years have always operated under short titles. And Amazon is an SEO game. And that's why a lot of the mom and pop smaller sellers have been nimble in navigating those platforms. They have longer titles. but they don't have omni-channel approaches. They don't have brick and mortar, and they don't have other competing platforms to alter their rules for their titles. So because of that, they generally run shorter. Rob says, I get a lot of orders from when Amazon initiates a refund for the reason order not received. These are FBA orders. Am I eating the cost on this, or is Amazon? So if the item ships over to the customer and it gets returned into your inbox, your warehouse, you will eat the cost of shipping it. So for example, a typical item like this costs $3.50 to ship. You would eat that cost. Any returns, you eat the cost. So Rob continues this thought and says, it looks like I am. That seems wrong since I have no control over the shipping. It may feel wrong, but that is the cost of doing business with Amazon's model. That's the true answer. We had a really good thumbnail this week. I'm really proud of this one. And let's see if I can pull it up fast. So we, the top two, Sierra, did we ever post the poll on which, okay, cool. Sierra, could you link to that poll? Or let's see, I can pull it up on screen potentially. So the best two thumbnails we've ever made, we have it in a poll right now. So if anybody wants to weigh in on our poll, you just go over to our community page. And I'm going to see if I can pull up that on screen here. It's, and the reason I bring this up is because we had a thumbnail yesterday that I thought was just super clever. And okay, I got it up on screen here. So let's go. So praying to seller support. So we got a little straw poll here. I'm guessing that we couldn't get the Mr. Burns thumbnail. Both people can't see here. I think we should post another image of the Mr. Burns one. People can't see the difference between the two. It's not a real true poll if they can't see them. So let's see if we can get that posted. But the reason I brought this up is because often the case, we are beholden to the Jeff Bezos godlike figure. And so one of my favorite thumbnails we've ever made, the Mr. Burns one, though, is something that a lot of people in the chat have been saying they also really like that one as well. And I found it. Let me pull it up on screen here. So here's what it's competing against. So which one do you guys like more, the Mr. Burns one or the Jeff Bezos is kind of a Jesus looking figure? So you got me as Mr. Burns here, of course. All right, let's move on to the next question here. So this one comes in from my wife, Emily. Sage is watching and keeps waving daddy. So Sage comes down and sees me talking to people and clients on Zoom all the time. She starts waving at them constantly. It's pretty adorable. And of course, the brand that we launched is in fact named after my daughter, Sage, Age of Sage. She's 2 years old. So thanks for tuning in, Sage. All right, let's go to the next question. I have a brand exclusively with a brand. I'm looking of converting these products to my new brand registered storefront. Should I sell through first before sending in those ASINs to the new storefront? This one's a little complex. I'm going to break this one down a little bit. And Sierra, if you can get ready to do the t-shirt winner announcer, we'll have that up on screen here in a moment. So Brandon, with the converting products of the new brand, so are you switching the brand name at all? Or are you switching ASINs at all? So if you have the product and you're switching the brand name, that's a very different question. I would say if you're just trying to flip like packaging or something like that, create a duplicate SKU of the ASIN, close the SKU of the new listing while the first one sells out, then activate the second. But your question does take a little bit of clarification whether that advice will be good. All right, let's pull up our wheel here. So Sierra, go ahead and click the wheel and activate it. This is to decide who wins the free mag t-shirt today. Let's see, you got a little background music for us. And the winner is Rob. So Rob, Sierra is going to give you, if you could send an email to t-shirts@MyAmazonGuy, Rob, we will give you access to collect that t-shirt. So thanks for playing, Rob. And we'll do that every time we go live. So Rob, glad you did that with us today. All right, let's go to the next product question. We got a lot of people that entered the mag t-shirt contest today. Beverly says, how do I run PPC so the parent and child don't compete against each other? They don't. You will never compete against your own campaigns. Like, you won't bid against yourself, but you will have impression control differences. So if you have two products that are selling similar and they target the same keywords, they will rotate, but they won't bid against each other. So you never will compete against each other by that definition. Deanna says, I recently started selling merchandise by Amazon, but none of my products are showing up when I search for them. I've also tried creating ads, but when I search my ASIN, it says it can't be found. What gives? Might have a suppression issue. I've never personally used merch by Amazon myself, Deanna, but I know a lot of people have had success with it. This might be worth ticketing. You might want to see if there's any reason the product is inactive. Try and buy your own product and run through a test sale. Those are the kinds of troubleshooting I typically try and go through. James says, just found your channel. How long have you been doing this on YouTube for? So I've been podcasting for 3 years with various videos, over 650 videos on YouTube. We've accelerated this year. The business has really taken off. I've taken a step back from client management at the agency of MyRefundGuy, and I've been doing a lot more content focus. I'm trying to bring people into the company. It's my best form of revenue generation. So I have been selling on Amazon for almost 10 years, qualified Amazon expert, but everything I tell you to do, go test it. Don't take my word for it. Masomi says, what's a good tool to track inventory? I don't have a particular tool preference on this one. I know a lot of people have tested various tools, but the feedback I always get is like, I wish the tool would do X, Y, Z, and it's never sufficient. I like to use Seller Central's alert tool to tell me when to ship stuff in, but typically speaking, a lot of people are generally looking for international tracking of inventory. It gets a lot more complex than a spreadsheet can make it. DK says, target audience. All right, now I got to go float up. Sierra, if you could pull up DK's previous question for the target audience. Already got the URL for Pickfu. Thank you. Very cool. Thank you for doing that, Lucho. Fear Panama says, hi all, great content you create. Can you explain about the baby category and testing requirements? So I am not hyper knowledgeable on a lot of the testing requirements, but what I would say is that to sell something in the baby category, you have to have proof that it won't harm the child. And so whoever you manufacture with can produce some of this testing, or you need to get a testing facility to produce it. In the past, you would just have to get a category ungated. And what we've seen Amazon do is move way more closer to product gating, very specific products moving forward. So glad you joined our channel here and really appreciate it. So DK says, are there any restrictions on words like smoking if I'm showing lifestyle model pics with smoking? So there was another question that DK referenced the target audience. Can you pull that one up? Saphir says, how to gate my ASIN so I can protect myself from any black hat tactics. You can't. It's impossible to gate your own product or brand. Only 100 or so brands are gated on Amazon. But what you can do is register for Brand Registry. That will cut down on 80% of the problems. You'll still have some, but that's the best thing to do. So if you don't have a trademark, get one today. You can get your brand registered in under 7 days with MyRefundGuy. See if you can't find it, just let me know. All right. DK says, following Ryan, sure, maybe it was somebody else that asked the TA question and he was just filling in. DK said, following Ryan Sherrard's question, I've been testing on putting keywords on main images. It has been for 2 weeks now, still not indexed. So when you say keywords on main images, not sure what you mean. Are you talking about the A+ content images? Because they totally do index. We've repeatedly seen that work. But behind a main image on Amazon, I'm not sure what you're referencing. It's not possible to put keywords there. DK says, thank you, Stephen. You're very welcome. Joey says, back to the question about the Cube Scan. Let's say I've repackaged my product to a smaller box, but Amazon still charges me on my older, bigger dimensions. Assuming I've sold 100 units, can I get a reimbursement? Yes, you can. You can do this one-to-one on your own and file tickets, or you can hire a service like MyRefundGuy, and we'll do that for you. The nice thing about hiring a service is it's commission-based. 25% of everything we get back from you will charge you. That includes reimbursements. First $500 are on the house. So if you haven't signed up for MyRefundGuy and you want to check that out, go to MyRefundGuy.com. Denise says, do you think in the long run it's better to open a second and third account versus add new brands to one account? This is a variable question, Denise. Do you ever want to sell one of those brands? It's very difficult to sell a brand off of an account. It's very easy to sell an account with a brand turnkey turnover. And so this is a question of stake ownership and acquisition potential planning. So I like one power account. I think it's easier to manage. So if you're building to hold, I'd go one account. If you think you will ever take on different partners for different brands, maybe you got a brand for adults and a brand for kids, and maybe you have two different partners between company A and company B, I would have two accounts in a heartbeat, no doubt about it. The more accounts you open, the more complexity you gain. You have to run multiple P&Ls. You got to run multiple S Corps or LLCs, and it becomes a lot more difficult to run the company. So, all right. Let's go to Jagdish. Can I ask a KDP question? You can, but I'm not the greatest on KDP. Deanna says, I volunteer for ASIN review. All right. So I don't know if I think we did one before. Let's see if this is a different one. I think this is a different one. B07X6MP SBW. Let's see what we got. I did not type that incorrect. All right. Let's see if I can try this one more time. See if I can get this right. So Bravo. Oh, it's O. That's what I did. I typed in a 07X6MP SBW. I wish I could copy and paste it over, but I can't. Well, I am struggling on this one. Let's see. Any obvious errors on typing that in? PSBW? Yeah. All right. Let me see if I can come back to you. Sorry about that. Let's go to CL Wells. More important for optimization, and could you rank that image quality, title, bullets, videos, EBC, and search terms? So I would say conversion and indexing go hand in hand for traffic. If you can't convert an item that you index for, you will stop indexing for it. The main image is the breadth of life behind your listing. If you don't get the main image right, nothing else will matter, which is why I ran a Pickfu test to see which main image would do better. And I'm still running that test. So let's see, let's refresh this response. So 52% to 48%, very, very close, but they are edging towards showing this image versus the one showing the full box and the card. And I'm very surprised by this. And then in the Pickfu test, they give you all the reasons for that. So very, very close test on this one. They also give you gender. Like you can see like, so obviously I'm selling to females, but the question is who's going to be the purchaser? Is it the males purchasing, or is it for their wives or their moms, or is it the females purchasing? And I don't know the answer to that question. So it's going to be difficult to figure this one out, but it's very apparent that the females like version A better. So females are voting for this one higher proportion. Interesting results. All right, let's go to the next question. James says, Pope, thank you. You nailed a few topics I was thinking about, gave me more to think about. Thank you. Very welcome, James. Thank you for being a subscriber. Vassal says, in terms of sales tax, why does Amazon include the sales tax that they remit on the 1099? With any accounting question, I always try and refer out to Tyler Jeffcoat of Seller Accountants. Sierra, feel free to email him and tag him on this question for the comment section. But I would say I think Amazon remits like 40 of the 50 states at this point, so you don't really have to do any accounting with this one. So I don't think it's an issue for most people nowadays. Andre says, hello, Stephen. You mentioned during the ASIN review the keyword distribution of 1:2 ratio from sponsored products to organic keywords. How do I optimize that? If the ratio is out of whack, if you're not, so let's say you got 4,000 keywords indexed and 2,000 advertised. If you were at 1,000 advertised, then you would need to advertise for more keywords. If the ratios are closer together, if it's like 1-to-1, it's because you're advertising on too much, but your indexing is not working, which means you probably need more copy on the listing. So it's either run more ads or add more copy. It's usually one of those two answers. Rob says, we have a product that got one terrible review. By the way, congratulations on the t-shirt winner today, Rob. That is killing us. We fixed the issue in a new version. What are your thoughts about creating a variation and orphaning after getting some reviews? That's a great idea. I do it all the time. And one product review destroying a listing is very challenging. But yes, relaunch your product. It's not necessarily something that Amazon likes, but it is absolutely something that's necessary on occasion. Dr. Kaz says, hi, Stephen Pope. I love your nugget this week on brand banner ads, specifically adding a custom image for more real estate. I noticed this image only appears on mobile. Is that correct? It is at this stage, but I believe at any moment they're going to make that available on desktop. So highly recommend it. Leonard says the Jesus Jeff Bezos. Ha ha. Yes. So we have some fun over at MyRefundGuy, and we'll put that back up on screen again here. So here's the Jeff Bezos Jesus thumbnail. That, in my opinion, is my favorite thumbnail I've ever made in my life. Although Mr. Burns is a close second for me personally. Reza says, any tips on how to get around the supply chain mess right now? The fastest bats now take up to 4 months to get Amazon from China these days. That is honestly average right now, 4 months. I do not have a great answer other than buy a year of stock in advance, finance it, build your own warehouse, and take care of your supply chain, because just-in-time supply chain is totally dead. Not going to be resurfacing anywhere. I am going to go a little long today if you want to stay a little bit longer than the hour. Brandon says, no, it's wholesale item I have exclusivity with. So if, Brandon, back to your question up top, I would recommend that you have the brand that you buy from give you permission to register the brand on Amazon, make you an agent. Will help you out a lot. Anthony Fu says, are Vine enrolled ASINs released to Vine voices in batches? Yes, they are. I've had an ASIN enrolled for Vine for a week. Haven't gotten any claims, but people online claim it's flying off the shelves. So yes, it's done in batches. Usually from time of enrollment to a Vine, it usually takes a full 30 days to get all of the reviews in. And they usually start populating right around day 10. So you're right on that cusp right now. Joey says, back to the question about Cube Scan. Let's say I've repackaged my product to a smaller box. Amazon still charges me for older box dimensions. So yes, you can open a case for those as well and get reimbursed. And you can show them the actual new measurements of the item. Anthony says, once its batch gets released, thoughts on this? So yeah, Anthony, you'll probably be in the next 3 to 5 days seeing some reviews come in. Congratulations, Rob, Deanna says. Yep, that's our t-shirt winner. Reza says, any tips on how to get around the supply chain mess right now? The fastest, I think we already got that one. Andrew says, is Amazon PPC supposed to deduplicate clicks per session? Only one paid click per session. I consistently get more PPC clicks than user sessions in business reports. I do not know the answer to this question. I wish I did, because I should. Does anybody in the community know the answer to this question? If you do, leave the answer in the comment section. I suspect that you are only charged once per session, but I do not know the answer to that. That's a great question. I wish I did. All right. Doug says, take care, Steve. Great to watch today. Good luck, my friend. Very welcome, Doug. Appreciate you watching. Med Free Living, please help. We are an Amazon brand register, but can't seem to change the product description or key features. Top 2 reasons. Number 1, load a UPC to the listing. Number 2, file a brand registry ticket. I have 2 videos I've released on both of those answers. Sierra, do your best, see if you can find them. They are relatively recent videos. One is on the images not sticking. I think I posted that about a week ago. That will definitely help this person out. DK says, I was answering that TA meant for comment about the image of Age of Sage. It says it's all good. Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. Joseph, how do you do bookkeeping and accounting? Any recommendations for software, or do you outsource it all to a bookkeeper? I pay an accountant to manually do it. I use QuickBooks myself with all of my expenses. I then create automated rules to classify all of my expenses, and then turn it over to the bookkeeper. Bookkeeper does their thing and then qualifies it. Then we turn it over to the accountants, and the accountant bakes it. And then it goes off to the tax man. DK Kim says raw image names or the image metadata before uploading. So I think it's worth doing image names because there's a small non-zero chance it will help you. Deanna says, what does LQS mean in Jungle Scout? I don't know, but I think it might have something to do with quality score. And if anybody knows the answer to that one, please, yeah, listing quality score. I just found it on the support channel. I'll post a link to that answer for you, Deanna. Hey, Hansen says, any tips on how to get A+ content approved faster? It's been 15 days still in review. Yes. What you can do is create a new A+ content that has like 2 modules and very limited text. Submit that. It should go through a lot faster. Then resubmit the second A+ content with the full copy. Now, you're at 15 days right now. You may want to hold out because the average review of a human A+ content review is right around day 15. Some categories go through faster than others. Some take a lot longer. The A+ content that I published today for Age of Sage went through in less than 10 seconds. I was very happily surprised. So this A+ content went through in less than 10 seconds. Notice how I'm very light on copy. I plan to put more copy in it and republish. Harry says, my account health is 0.67%, been past 60 days since the negative customer experience. What can I do? Not much. As long as you're not hitting 4%, you're probably going to be okay. You won't have much of an issue as long as you're below 4%. Not a lot of proactive things that you can do. Lucho says, I use Helium 10 for Refund Genie. Works very well for us. Good product. But no, they may be losing some old stuff, not recuperated. Would love to use MyRefundGuy, but only for what I can't recover myself. That's totally fine. So when you sign up, Lucho, just tell the case manager that you only want them to do things that are after a certain time period. They'll do it, say, 2 weeks out. That'd be totally fine. Helium 10's Refund Genie, I think, I can't remember for sure if it's included in the monthly subscription or if they charge extra for it, but either way, not a problem. We're happy to accommodate. MyRefundGuy, by the way, Lucho, is not a moneymaker for me. It's just kind of one of those services you add to get more exposure. Brad says, how do you remove restrictions from selling in California after incorrectly being banned for using terms plastic and biodegradable in a listing? Ouch. Brad, I have dealt with this exact issue before about a year ago. I never got it fixed. It never got fixed. I would suggest creating a new listing and don't use those terms. And then that is your best bet. It's a really unfortunate situation, Brad. You were in a tough one on that one. All right, coming close to our last questions here. It looks like we got, oh, I actually got 6 more. All right. Brandon says, where does Pickfu pull its audience from? Basically Amazon shoppers from various demographics. They do give you all the demographic data. It's pretty cool. Med-free living, please help. We are an Amazon Brand Registry, can't seem to change product descriptions. All right, so we sent the video answer for you. Just scroll up, Med. Rob says, do you know of a good Seller Central training course that focuses on training VAs rather than business owners? I helped build one for onlinejobs.ph. They have one that's built for training VAs. So Rob, I would check out onlinejobs.ph. The reason I haven't put one out is because that is one of my secret sauces a little bit. And we hope that people hire us to run their accounts. If you're in the process of needing a VA, you probably are going to struggle hiring a VA. I felt like there's not a good way to make that easy for everybody else to replicate. So that's been one of the biggest challenges we have. We are an affiliate of onlinejobs.ph, and I will post a link. If you do want to sign up for them, will buy me a coffee. I do not drink coffee, though. So yeah, I will not be putting out a VA training course. I don't want to be in the process of selling content. I want to be in the process of selling services, and I give all of my content out for free, but I can't give out VA training content. That's the one I can't do. Riza says, by the way, any virtual assistants, people in the Philippines, Pakistan, Romania, Turkey, wherever you might be, if you want a job and you have Amazon experience, send in your resume to recruiting@myamazonguy.com. If you're in the US and you'd like a job, send your resume to jobs@myamazonguy.com. We have 2 different recruiters and HR managers working on both of those emails. Riza says, any suggestions on box cartons manufacturers in the US? I'm thinking of maybe getting the product faster by air and packaging it here in the States. I've used Gold Crown packaging. They're decent. There's what is it? Uline. Uline's expensive, but always consistent. You can check them out as well. If anybody else has a recommendation on boxes and cartons, please post it into the chat. I always like to see what other people come up with. John says, what do you recommend when you're trying to get approval for an approval of a product, but they are not liking the receipt that distributor provided me? It's usually the format, John. Make sure that the receipt or the invoice has both the addresses of you, the buyer, and them, the seller, and your actual legal name. That will definitely help your process. Deanna says, which of the services you recommend for optimizing my listing and what's the cost? So any manual optimization effort will be costly because these skills are in high demand. We do not offer this as an a la carte service. We only do this for full service clients right now because it's so complex. There are many tools, including the guy we talked to yesterday was from ZonGuru, who have some sort of tools to give you some automatic references. You could also try hiring some overseas members on platforms like FreeUp and Fiverr, but you're going to be paying for English as a second language typically. So just whatever you want to do, depending on your goals, your budget, that would answer your question. Rob says, you generally create listings with a bulk file or through Amazon's wizard. Same question regarding edit the listings after they've been created. I would say, Rob, 9 out of 10 times I go template file, and that's because the attributes are cleaner. They're easier to manage in bulk, 100%. Even for a single SKU, I often will do a template file because when you make something manually in the system, it often locks down and becomes hard to edit. So I would say get in the habit of doing template files, 100% on that question. And images might be the one exception. I sometimes do images manually. After you've loaded something, Rob, you can do a category export as well. And then that way you have all of your data in one place. It makes it a lot easier to edit it. Amarit says, use plastics, and it's not doing any biodegradable materials. I've done, but they keep asking for the same info. Really so sorry, Amarit. This is a tough one. I've never been able to solve that one. Once the listing's locked on this question, they do not abate. Andre says, Walmart sells boxes at low cost. That's a good point. You can grab some cheap boxes from Walmart. And our last question today is from Hansen. I've sent my resume to jobs at my Amazon guy around 11 days ago. How long does it usually take to get reviewed? We're actually pretty fast on this. Hansen, go ahead and send a follow-up email. We just had another HR manager start on Monday. And so the changing of the guard might have let you down on that one. But go ahead and send an update. We'd love to get your resume and see if we can find a role for you. We're hiring Amazon specialists, account managers. We also need to hire an advertising director right now. So if you think you can run advertising for 160 accounts, send me your resume. We'd be happy to take a look at you. That is a U.S. hire on that one. We're also hiring overseas PPC managers to help us with bid and campaign setups. As well. And we just finished hiring our design team. We're now staffed up on that. We're always hiring additional catalog troubleshooters because that is an infinitely scalable service as well. So that is the My Amazon Guy podcast every Friday, noon Eastern Standard Time. We appreciate you guys checking in. If you guys would like to leave a comment with a thank you for watching in, we'd always love to see that. Every comment you make helps us with the YouTube algorithms. Even if you're watching this in the replay, leave a comment. It really helps us out. Otherwise, we will see you next week, Friday at noon Eastern Standard Time. That is the My Amazon Guy podcast. We really appreciate it. Thank you so much.